This is about my 80th attempt at recording this video, so I am losing the will to live slightly, but I just wanted to rant about some of the issues I've faced being an amateur local historian. And this isn't scripted or rehearsed, so I'm going to be much less coherent than in my normal videos, but you should be able to get the gist of it. And what I wanted to do was to raise these issues and start a discussion with other historians and content creators and basically say, hey, this is a problem. What can we do about it? I've just eaten a packet of those sun bites and they always get stuck in your throat, don't they? Bear with. So as a bit of background, I do this as a hobby. This is just a personal interest of mine. And what I do is I repackage what other people have researched. I go onto the internet or onto a book and I osmosize all the information and I repackage it into a nice little accessible video for ordinary layfolk. Now, what this means is that I am entirely reliant and dependent on what people have made accessible and available to me on the internet and in books. I am not in the position to do first-hand research, so I don't go into dusty old archives and root around in old documents. And you might already be able to see a problem here, because obviously I can only access what I can access, and this brings me on to my first major issue. There is a knowledge gap between the academic world and the real world, and before someone kicks off, I'm not using that to sound patronising. Now, this wasn't a problem when I was at uni, because I could access all these academic journals and books and materials, and there was so much information in them that I couldn't find anywhere else. And at first, I was like, oh, this is great. I've got all these juicy bits of information which no one else can get. But then I had a bit of an awkward moment when I left uni, because I was like, oh, hang on, I can't actually get this information anymore. And I realised that I was now severely limited in my ability to access information for my videos. Because the issue is, all the information there, it is locked behind the academic paywall. And especially for local history or for niche aspects of history, it hasn't filtered its way onto the internet or into books, meaning it's very difficult, often sometimes impossible, to access that information. Now, granted, this isn't a problem if it's a major topic like Henry VIII or something, because there's literally thousands of books written about him. But as I said, if you're researching something obscure, especially something in local history, this can be a huge problem. Now, there's not much else to say on that other than I just believe it's fundamentally unfair and incredibly frustrating to know that there is so much information out there which you can't access because someone hasn't made it available to you. So I'll leave that for you. Talk amongst yourselves. The second issue is this. Not this book in particular, I mean, this does have its issues, but this is an example. So this book has at least two glaring errors in the location of battles. Now, I've actually ranted about this before in my previous rant video, but for those who haven't seen it, the battles of Hatfield Chase and Winwade in Yorkshire, everywhere you go, on the internet and in books, it says it happened at certain places. But there's actually no evidence to suggest that. Now, I am not claiming to be a great historian. Like, I literally just Googled a PDF of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. And I discovered that actually there isn't really any evidence to suggest that these battles happened at the places. But everywhere you go, it says they did. And this is the issue, because people just regurgitate what they've read elsewhere. And poor old William Hebden, he probably read those facts in another book, wrote it in his book. Someone else will read his book and write it in their book or put it on their website. And there is a real lack of accountability almost, or moderation. Because in the academic world, you have peer reviews. So you have someone fact-checking you, basically. But in a situation where you've just got some, like, the North Winkley Historical Society, who haven't updated their website since 2003, there is no one fact-checking them. There is no one who has taken it upon themselves to be Witchfinder General of local history. I mean, I'm happy to do it. I quite enjoy it. But no one says, I am become death, the destroyer of local history. And what it means is that it's incredibly easy for wrong facts and bad history to perpetuate forevermore and forevermore, basically, as with the example of the battles of Hatfield Chase and Winwade, where, you know, even on Wikipedia, and it says the battles happened at those places, and I'm like, sorry chaps, but has anyone bothered to think for themselves? That's actually all I kind of wanted to rant about today. I didn't think of an ending for this video, but I just wanted to get that stuff off my chest, and I wanted to start a discussion. So yeah.